the beautiful London in Blockchain Live, and we're here with Almond. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Rory O'Grady. I'm the Chief Philosophy Officer.
It's a very crowded booth. Lots of turn up. It's good.
It's been really tiring. I've never done so much speaking in my life. It's like.
Almond. Could you explain the concept of it?
Yeah, so, in a nutshell, we all know the impact that our consumption patterns are having on our planet, on the very fabric of our societies, and indeed our health. And essentially what we're creating is an incentive scheme for getting consumers to switch from bad products to good products. Now, what are the realities of achieving that? First of all is, high quality products, or ethical, sustainable products, cost more money. The second is people's awareness and education patterns required to make us, maybe use organic ingredients, locally produced, and also know how to cook them. Less and less people know how to cook. Of course, in general, supply and demand. So those are, if we want to solve that problem, those are, in a nutshell, the three problems we need to solve. And Almond is by combining decentralized ledger technology, IoT, Internet of Things, and mobile phone technology. It's a very simple, quantifiable way for consumers to be able to gain a share in the future value of these brands and the ecosystem as a whole. If you want a value exchange for buying these more expensive products, and also see the whole supply chain, ingredients, where they've produced, and so on.
Yeah, it's quite. I know a big Dutch retailer, Albert Heijn, has put also blockchain in place to actually know the origin of products. So it's a very a hot topic actually.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and Walmart did a fairly big ICO a few months ago. It is becoming quite generalized, and that's good for us. It means that we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not pushing for adoption of abstract concepts. It's already in place, and it will actually make it easier for these brands to already start changing their production processes, and hopefully switch to our system.
Are there any partnerships at this moment?
Yeah, we right now we're at a proof of concept phase. As you know, the ICO market is not very good at all, and the reason it's not very good at all is because the vast majority of ICOs were nonsense, politely. So we're taking the classic route of saying, this is what we're doing. Here are the KPIs, here are the numbers, here are the partners we have on board, and actually making a genuine, honest business case to our customers. We're definitely going to get things wrong. We already have got things wrong that we're fine-tuning through the learnings of this proof of concept. Nothing major, thankfully, but fine-tuning, getting the messaging right, and so on.
And what are the next steps? Probably, are you doing an ICO or just private sale?
So we will be doing an ICO. We obviously have a very big ambition. We're trying to create a parallel economy for sustainable, conscientious brands, if you want. In order to achieve that, we need to get a critical mass balance between enough brands entering the system and, of course, not enough consumers having downloaded that and engaged enough to regularly buy and scan these products. Otherwise, it will be a cool idea. These brands, pretty much every brand we talk to, and we're talking to some of the biggest brands, at least here in the UK.
Can you name one?
I don't know what we're talking to them, so we're allowed to say that. So, for example, Innocent Strings, brands like that, who are lead front runners in the corporate social responsibility FMCG sector. Distributors like Whole Foods and so on. We know there's a guaranteed interest for the concept. Now, getting those figures is the big challenge, and getting people to download the app, yes, because we can have these promotional events, as these guys Facts have, for example. You get £1 for your first scan, which is pretty good. But making sure people do this regularly will be the challenge. So that's the kind of things we want to iron out.
So you also get rewarded in a token, for instance, like an Almond token. Or
Exactly. And sorry, I didn't explain that very well. But the incentive for the consumer is that each time they're going to buy and scan a product that's been validated by the Almond Foundation, it's a non-profit entity whose job is solely to make sure that every brand and product in the system conforms to basic requirements from an environmental, human and health perspective.
Sounds good. So when can we expect a public sale around?
So we're doing our pre-sale in January. For that we're taking on only really strategic investors and of course the brands who'll be able to pre-buy, which for them is a commodity token at a much reduced price. And because a lot of them have already showed strong interest to come on board, it's a way of coming on board at a very reduced cost. But who knows, also maybe they'll hold some of these tokens, which is good for us because the tokenomics here are not like many cryptos where you create your coin and actually effectively let market speculation determine its value. Here there's a real growth-driven economic model in which that is mainly driven by these brands buying these tokens for real purpose so that they can tokenize their products on our IoT network so that the individual products or batch-specific products can be traced in time and space, and so they can pass on these rewards to their consumers. And in exchange for that, also, their consumers providing anonymized data about themselves at point of consumption.
Maybe last question, you can look at the camera and do maybe like a pitch or something.
Yeah.
1 minute pitch.
So the big problem of our times is linked to our consumption patterns. And what we're trying to create is a new economic framework that's going to incentivize people to buy high quality products and for brands to diminish their impact on our planet, on our societies, and of course on our health. The way it works, the incentivized side of things, is by giving consumers a percentage of the retail value of all these products that have been approved by the Almond Charter in exchange for buying and scanning them. They can also see the full trail of that product, where it's been produced, by whom, when, and of course the various different suppliers. And finally get an idea of who the people are behind that product, how it's been made, because a lot of these brands of course are driven by purpose, so they want to communicate that. The value exchange on the other side of the equation for brands is that they're going to get anonymized data about their consumer at point of consumption, something that is nearly impossible or very difficult to get, especially at scale. And that's going to bring them huge cost savings because...
Thank you very much.
Yeah, cool.
And maybe last question. Yeah, true. Your 3 favorite altcoins? It's a question everyone asks, but...
Oh, wow. Okay, so one is Engine Coin, because for me it's one of the first coins that I'm not in gaming, but it made real use if the token model was justified. For me, this is the big thing. It needs to be justified. Another one, Almond.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, pleasure.
And I will send you the link. Let me see.